Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at this book, Simultaneity. This is by Thu Fierro and Generoso Fierro. They were both kind enough, I don't know who sent it, but they were kind enough to send it to Sean, and Sean sent it to me, and I was very excited to check out this book. It's a strange, poetic book, and that's how you have to go into it, reading it like that. This is visual poetry, and the art works that way too. It's obviously has a topic that it's about. You start right out the gate with these kind of like medical looking plugs all over the place. The poem, which is kind of interspersed into the art, is saying, "Recover what I've lost, 37 sunsets of noisy signals." So even that has like a kind of poetic form to it. But you get the sense that someone's like recovering from something medical, or has been overwhelmed in some other such way. And then you can see here that they've got all of these things plugged to the head, and there's like some distortions of the lettering. So there's something going on, I don't totally know, but some representation of a medical problem, some brain injury, some kind of neurological issue that leads to like trouble reading, some kind of aphasia, something like that is being represented. I'm not quite exactly sure what though. And then another thing that shows up that's really interesting throughout the book, and I think this is like a counterbalance to that like dyslexic, aphasic type of imagery, is that there's a lot of stuff being measured really, really carefully. But here it's like X centimeters. So someone worrying about like measuring things in the abstract and knowing the world around them. You can get a sense of that here too, where they're unrolling the toilet paper and they're kind of mentally mapping out the measurements for that, what the formulas are to measure these things. And so there seems to be like a little bit of like an OCD personality going on in here, as well. And you don't really see any characters until later in the book. At this point in the book, it's kind of all this internal stuff. And they have like numbers on them too. 1, 2, 4. I don't know where 3 is at. But then you get something more like this person out in the world. They're talking about trying not to count. Oh, they're counting the spaces in between as well. So 3's wrapped up in there somewhere. But that makes me start to think that the condition that's being looked at is some kind of obsessive compulsive disorder, where there's like this obsessive counting going on. You could see here, starting with the grid paper and the pencils, there's kind of like an obsessive stacking. But this all leads to like some really beautiful abstract compositions. And I really like the style, the pencil drawing style, and with the colored pencil coming in over top of it. It just makes for a really kind of elegant looking book. My read on like what all of this medical imagery is about starts to fall apart as the book goes a little longer, because we start to get this imagery where now these little medical notes are making like a shark or a fish face, and then that's growing all of this branches out of it, and things start to break down and get even more abstract and surreal, and again the language falls apart. So it leads me back to some kind of something where we're looking at someone who has aphasia or whatever, finds language difficult, and then here saying like the shape had too many edges to count, it could not be visualized, and we go into an abstract sequence there. So I'm not 100% sure what exactly this book is about. I feel like it's talking about a couple different things, which I guess could make sense if you're talking about things happening absolutely simultaneously. That's interesting. But to me, it was like this thing where you have someone that's like dealing with an issue with language, and then they're trying to solve that somehow by like this obsessive, not even counting, but like mapping out of formula on top of the world. So that's what I get out of the topic of it. There's something about that. I don't know exactly what the artists are trying to express, but it was compelling, and I think a really beautiful book. And like me chewing over what this about exactly is, like one of the good kind of chewing overs. It's not one of the ones where you think, oh, this person didn't even know what the hell they're talking about. there's a really interesting thought in here that I'll just have to mull over more. So definitely get yourself a copy of Absolute Simultaneity by Thu Fierro and Generoso Fierro. And thank you both for sending this along. I really enjoyed it.